Please subscribe and don't forget to press the bell icon to get notified whenever we upload a new video.
And welcome. You have joined us on Business Lunch. I'm Nisha Podar and with me is Mangalam Malu. Mangalam, good afternoon. It's turned out to be a good Friday today. Take a look at the markets. In fact, the key indices are at record levels. So it's fireworks all along when it comes to the Friday's trade. It's also good to see that the mid-cap index is also participating, and not just participating, is actually outperforming the key indices. It's Bank Nifty near the record levels as well. Some of the key earnings to really digest: Reliance Industries, ICICI Bank, they all are key right now to be watched out for, and that's something that the market is going to digest going forward as well. ITC is the top performer. Titan as well as GAIL, they have also spiked up in trades in the last few minutes of trade. Mangala.
Absolutely. And, you spoke about Titan, a couple of other Tata Group stocks also doing well. So pull up something like a Tata Global has been an underperformer this year, down about 23% for this year itself. But Tata Global Beverages has now moved higher. Along with that, we have Container Corp as well, which is sitting with a gain of about 1.5%. The only stock which is losing in trade today, the notable stock that is losing in trade today, is Hindustan Unilever. Perhaps some money shifting from Hindustan Unilever to ITC given the results. So tell you a little about ITC itself. The results came in, they were pretty much in line with what the expectations were. At the same time, if you take a look at the cigarette volumes beneath the surface, the cigarette volumes appeared to have beat the street estimates. So rough calculations would indicate cigarette volume growth of 1 to 2%. That compares with the street expectations of decline, perhaps 0 to 2% decline. The other important highlights, the first one is the FMCG others business. That did well, 10 times growth in the operational performance year on year, 14% revenue growth out there. And that's an important mark for ITC as far as the FMCG others is concerned. Not big in terms of contribution, but very big in terms of sentiment, because if you take a look at the first quarter performance of their FMCG business over the last few years, you would see that the loss has reduced. The next chart should come up for you. The loss from 16 crores has reduced to reduced and turned into a profit of about 50 crores. Most importantly, ITC's valuations, they are favorable. After today's move, trades at a discount to Hindustan Unilever. Sector average is 40 times. So perhaps some visibility going forward and valuation comfort is what is taking that stock higher. All the analysts optimistic on the street right now. We have that list coming up for you. Targets anywhere between 320 to 390 rupees a piece.
All right. Thanks so much, Mangalam, for giving an exhaustive research on ITC. That is the top contributor on Nifty and is smoking hot at this point when it comes to the stock movement. Another stock on our radar has been Hindalco, and take a look at that particular counter as well. Doing very well at this point, breached above 213 levels. But if you look at the yearly chart of Hindalco, well, it's way below its 52-week highs, which is at around 284 levels. So keep in mind about that particular bit as well. But the big uptick really is coming in on Hindalco because of the large acquisition that has been announced. You heard it first right here on CNBC TV18, and Hindalco has announced the acquisition of Aleris for $2.58 billion. A part of it will be paid in cash, about $775 million. $1.8 billion of debt will be taken over by the Canadian arm of Hindalco, Novelis, for buying out Aleris. So that's the structure. But remember, the three key things that the markets would be watching out for going forward in terms of the analysis of the stock and the company as well would be: first, $360 million of EBITDA projection for Aleris after its acquisition is complete. Second, $150 million of synergistic benefits coming in from the third full year of operations. And Hindalco has also guided that the net debt to EBITDA level will go below 3x in 2 years of the acquisition. That's something that the street will closely watch out for. But synergistic benefits definitely there. Let's take it straight across to Mr. Kumar Mangalam Birla, who announced the acquisition yesterday.
It's important to understand where that 360 is coming from. In the last 3 or 4 years, Aleris has invested about $900 million, chiefly in the space of aerospace and automotive. That capacity, a large part of that capacity is yet to fruition, is yet to start giving a cash flow and start giving a return. That will kick in the first year after the acquisition, and that's where the higher EBITDA of $360 million is derived from.
On the other hand, you also got the DOT approval for Idea and Vodafone merger. Many congratulations on that. It's been a long haul process.
It has been.
Yes. So when do we see a final merged entity then?
I think in a few weeks from now, you should see the new entity.
And Mr. Birla, also leverage position with the merged entity starting off their journey, new journey, with over 1 lakh crore rupees of debt on their books. Is that a concern? And what are the remedial measures being taken by the promoters?
So obviously it's a concern, but I think that the capacity of the NewCo to handle this is very high, and it's very high on the agenda both for the promoters and for the NewCo.
And one question on Binani Cement, of course, you're chasing that particular acquisition. Do you think that the IBC rule could have been better prepared for a more competitive process?
You know, IBC is a new regulation. I think it's very much required. It's come at the right time. And I think the overarching principle has to be one of value maximization. That is something that we very strongly believe in.
And how far will you go to buy out Binani Cement then?
We made a bid. I think our bid is a very strong bid, way higher than the next bidder. And I don't see the need for us to hike the price any further.
Right, it's an earnings-heavy day, so what we'll do is take a short break, come back, we focus on all the big earnings due today, Reliance, ICICI Bank and Bank of Baroda. Stay tuned. Welcome back. Well, the markets are holding up. A couple of these ferrous metal stocks, they're doing well. So the likes of Tata Steel as well as JSPL, SAIL, JSW Steel, all those individual stocks are moving higher, and all of them are moving higher to the high point of the day with some volume. So we will keep an eye out on this space. However, the big space to watch out for today will be the earnings, and this one comes from Reliance Industries. We have Sonia and Rima who will give us the key expectations from the company as well as Reliance Jio. Sonia, to you first. What are the overall expectations?
Well, thanks for that. It has been a very strong year for Reliance Industries. It has re-entered the $100 billion market cap club. The stock is up over 20% this year and is at a record high. So the scope for disappointment is limited. In that context, the two verticals that are expected to positively surprise are telecom and retail. The bread and butter businesses, let me just take you through the expectations. The petchem business is expected to do well. It did well last quarter, and that trajectory is expected to continue. That will be offset by the weakness in the refining business. So the gross refining margins for the company are expected to peter off to $10.50 a barrel versus $11 last quarter. That's because the Singapore gross refining margins have been under pressure at a 7-quarter low, coming in at $6.1 a barrel. That's about the refining business. But on the petchem business, it's expected to be quite strong. The volumes are expected to grow 2.2% on a quarter-on-quarter basis, coming in at 4.5 million tons. This compares to 4.4 million tons last quarter. Now, the reason for that is the ramp-up that we've seen in production from two of their units, ROGC and PX. Because of the strong petchem business being offset by the weak refining business, the overall numbers are expected to be flat on a quarter-on-quarter basis. EBITDA is expected to go up by just 1.8%. Profits are expected to go up by 1.4%. On the telecom vertical, there is an expectation that the profits will be higher than what they did last time around. Last quarter, they saw 510 crores of profits. This quarter expected to be 700 crore plus, and the subscriber base has also risen. Retail business also expected to grow to about 25,000 crores of revenues. Back to you.
All right. Thanks, Sonia, for that. So that was a lot about the bread and butter business, but the caviar in Reliance is really the Jio and its performance. It's expected to really report a strong performance, and Rima will take us through that. Tell us, Rima.
Well, first the numbers. So revenues will be higher by 3.5% on a quarter-on-quarter basis. Margins largely stable, maybe a positive buy, so 38.1% according to our poll. And profits too are likely to nudge higher to 567 crore versus 510 crore. Now for Jio, the biggest growth driver is the very strong subscriber addition, which is adding to their incremental revenue. So every month, Jio adds close to about 9 to 10 million subscribers. At least that's been the trend for the last 3 quarters. So if that happens, this quarter we could see about 28-29 million subscribers getting added, and that will provide the revenue driver. What will offset it is the pricing pressure in the industry. So even Jio is not spared from it. For Bharti, we saw a 9.5% decline in the average revenue per user, or ARPU, which, you know, in simple terms you could say call it as, you know, pricing. Even for Jio, we are expecting a 10% drop on a sequential basis in pricing. So the key metrics to track will be the subscriber addition as well as the average revenue per user. Also, the company entered into the postpaid segment in May of this year, and they had entered with a plan of 199 rupees per month. So if there is a lot of offtake in that, it can help offset some of the ARPU pressure. So we will watch for traction on that if they give us any more details, as well as on the Jio phone, because the company is coming up with a lot of offers. There was an exchange offer as well announced at the AGM. So attraction in Jio phone will also help the company on the whole.
Right, Rima, thanks a lot for that. The stock holding up fairly in the green, and the disclaimer, of course, flashing for you on the screen. Another stock which will be in focus and is holding up in the green today, ICICI Bank as well as Bank of Baroda will report the numbers. Abhishek is here with what to expect. Abhishek, let's start with ICICI.
Well, slippages will be the key focus in ICICI Bank results. Last quarter, the slippages were at north of 15,700 crore. Analysts on street are expecting a slippage between 6,500 to 7,000 crore, and which remains on the elevated side. Due to the stress in the balance sheet, analysts are expecting higher slippages. So if you look at a watch list and restructured book, they form about 6,300 odd crores. So how that moves will be seen closely. For peers, if you look at private banks' results, the net interest margin has been on a declining trend. However, for ICICI Bank, they have a high low-cost deposit share of 51% plus, along with which the retail loan book has been growing pretty strong. So that should aid in capturing your net interest margin, which came in at 3.24% in the previous quarter. We expect a loan growth anywhere between 9 to 11%. The international book has been on a declining trend. However, the domestic loan growth above 15% and the retail loan growth about 20% will be very positive. The bank also has about 12,900 odd crores in various restructuring forms. How that performs will be seen very closely. We expect an NII growth of close to 8.5%, while net profit to be down about 31% on a YY basis. Back to you.
Right, Abhishek, hang in there, because ICICI Bank is almost at the high point of the day ahead of the results. But what's not is Bank of Baroda is at the lowest point of the day. That's also expected to come out with results. What about that? What are we expecting?
The key focus in Bank of Baroda will be on the slippages. Now, slippages in the previous quarter were at north of 12,500 crore. Analysts on street are working with a number between 5,000 to 5,500 crore. Anything below that will be taken positive. Anything beyond that will be taken negative. Now, the asset quality movement will be seen very closely. Remember that in last quarter, the gross NPA was at 11.76%. Provisions could remain high given the fact that, they have to provide for aging of NPAs, along with which mark-to-market provisions on treasury portfolio will also be seen very closely. Loan growth will be another criteria which will be seen very closely. Anything above 15% will be very positive. The net interest margin, which has been on a declining trend, if they show a healthy recovery like how Canara Bank did, then it will be very positive. Our polls suggest an NII growth of close to 21%, while net profit to decline about 49%. But remember that the bank can report a profit this quarter as per our poll, versus a loss of more than 3,100 crore in the previous quarter.
All right, we will take a short break. Come back, we will get you some excerpts from Dr. Reddy's management commentary on their first quarter numbers. Stay tuned.